Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Aligned Actor podcast. I'm Amy Schlerb. And before we get into our work today, I just want to pause and check in with you because we need to pause and acknowledge what's going on in our country, the horrible situation happening in Minnesota. I know personally, I've been feeling really helpless and powerless watching the horrible atrocities that are happening there, the ICE raids, the murdering of people on the street. It's really scary and it's really terrifying to witness and to be far away from it and still be stressed by it and not know what to do. But fortunately, there are things that we can do. And these things might even seem really small, but every action does matter, and every action that you take does move you out of powerlessness. So it lets you take back your power, puts you back into a state of action, which does help you feel less hopeless, feel less powerless. So I have a couple of things for you. First, you can go to the website or you can download the app Five Calls. And I have a link in the description of the video or in the show notes. There are links that's going to either take you back to my Substack where you can get this, or it'll be a link in the show notes of the podcast. So the app Five Calls, it's going to help you get in touch with your representatives in Congress so that you can call and demand that they take action to defund ICE. There's also a lot of other things on the Five Calls app that you can call about, and they give you specific scripts. So there's a lot of different things that we can do to help to get Congress on the side of taking actions that are going to make a difference. And there's a lot of different actions. I'm not going to get into all of them here today because I am not as well versed on them as many other creators and people are out there. So, but that's an action that you can take. Calling Congress does matter. Even if you live in a state like I live in California, and I know that my Democratic senators and my Democratic congressmen are likely on the side of defunding ICE and taking steps to uh, improve this situation. It still matters because every call gets tallied, and then they have a record and they have a way to go to the floor and say, hey, like my phone will not stop ringing with people who are concerned about this issue. We need to get this done. It lets all of the Democrats then maybe come together as a united front and know that like we can't have people crossing over and deciding like, oh, well, I guess we'll just fund this one or what, like we're not going to do that anymore. So it gives them a much more united front when everybody shows up and everybody calls and says, this is not okay. It sends a message. It does work. I've been seeing from content creators that it is working, that they're tying specific things that are happening back to the fact that people are making these phone calls. So please make some phone calls. It's not scary. The people who answer the phone they staff the office. They're usually interns, so they're young people that are just very polite, and they answer the phone and they listen to you, and that's it. And I think the easiest thing you can do is you keep it really short and you talk specifically about what it is that you want them to do, and you make sure that your call gets tallied. So you just say like, what information do you need from me to make sure that I'm on record having said this? And then they usually just ask for your name, maybe your email address, your address, just to be sure that you're an actual constituent of that um, person. So that's it. And all of this information is also in the Five Calls app, which is really great. And if you're really phone shy, you can call any time of the day or night. So you could call after business hours and just leave a voice message. It's totally fine. In fact, both of the California senators, it always just goes straight to voicemail anyway. So you don't even have to talk to a human being. You literally just leave a message and you're done. And that's it. And then the other thing that you can do, if you have the resources, there's a website, standwithminnesota.com, and you can donate to various organizations and mutual aid groups in Minnesota via that website. That's another option for you. So I just wanted to put those out there as things that you can do to help with that feeling of, I don't know what to do. What can I possibly do? And that's a very scary place to be in. That's not a great place for us to live in as human beings, and it's exhausting. And as soon as we take some kind of action, we take one more step forward out of that feeling. And then we can take another step forward, and then another step, and then another step, and then another step. And all of these actions do matter. They add up. They're like those little atomic habits, kind of, that we've been talking about. Everything that you do, every small way that you show up, it does matter. It matters both for you and it matters on a whole. So please keep taking action. Keep showing up for your fellow Americans, for your fellow humans, and we got this. And this actually relates very well to the topic that we've been talking about the past few Substacks here. We've been talking about energy and how being a human being living in 2026 takes a lot of energy. So it takes energy. Maybe you even wrote it down on your what's on my plate. It takes energy to witness what's happening in the world right now, what's happening in our country. It's very scary, it's very stressful. And that witnessing takes an energetic toll on us. It's exhausting. It's cognitively exhausting, it's physically exhausting, it's mentally exhausting, it's emotionally exhausting. And then you add to that the fact that we're all still going to work. We all still got families that we're taking care of, or other loved ones that we're taking care of and interacting with. We got kids to parent and get to their various activities. We've got social lives and we're seeing friends and doing things and trying to keep up morale on our own. And we're staying informed by the news and often overwhelmed by the news. So it's a huge energy consumption that's happening for humans right now in 2026. And on top of that, we're actors, and that takes even more energy. We've got auditions to prepare. We've got traffic to fight to get to auditions if we're going in person. We've got to be on set really early, oftentimes. We've got lines to memorize. We've got scenes to do in class. All of this kind of stuff. For many of us, it's an additional full-time career on top of a full-time job and a full-time life. Plus, the essence of the acting craft takes a ton of energy. Yes, it's super fun and sometimes very cathartic to portray the rich emotional life of complex humans. And sometimes, especially in these sort of times when we are feeling a lot as our own humans, it can feel like, oh, this is a way to release. You pour it into your character, right? But that work, fully committing our bodies and our minds to our character and portraying those emotional experiences and those imagined circumstances full out, is still physically, mentally, and emotionally exhausting. And I want us all to respect and acknowledge that for ourselves. And it's all too easy to say, oh, but acting's so fun. It's so juicy and delicious to play these fun characters and these fun scenes. Like, it's just playtime all the time. Like, being an actor, it's not work, it's just play. Yes, acting is fun. It's a joy. It's a gift. It's art. It's what we love to do. It's also work. It takes effort. It takes a toll on our bodies and our minds, and that means it requires energy. Simple as that. We as actors have a very special skill set, and our craft deserves our respect. And the best way for us to honor our instrument and our craft is by giving ourselves the energy that we need so that we can pour ourselves fully into our characters. So, how do you fill your cup? Because in order to pour into our characters, we need to first pour into ourselves. And we've all heard that saying, you can't pour from an empty cup. It's true. If there's nothing in the cup, I can't pour anything out of the cup. I got nothing in it. This is my fake cup here. We can't show up for our acting when we've got nothing in the tank. It's harder to memorize our lines. We end up staying really surface level with our characters. Our brain is just too tired to really figure out and get specific on our characters' circumstances, their wants, their stakes in the scene. We are just sort of general with everything. And you don't want to half-ass a scene on set or for a self-tape because you're too exhausted to do the work. You're not that kind of actor. You want an abundance of energy that you can channel into living your character's wants, stakes, circumstances, take after take after take after take. Because that's what's fun. That's what we love doing. But if we're too exhausted to do that, then acting's not that much fun anymore. And we might as well go bake cakes. As my coach says, at least then you'd be around cake all day. So the question becomes, how do you fill your cup? How do you get yourself the energy that you need to be able to show up in your life and in your acting craft and career exactly how you want to? And my friends, the unsexy answer is good old basic self-care. And I know that's not sexy because I'm not really talking about spa days and mani-pedis and massages, although all of that definitely counts too. Keep on doing that if that's what floats your boat, if you like that kind of stuff. But what really gives us the most energizing bang for our buck is often these basic, boring daily care. The daily care that we give our bodies, minds, and spirits. It's highly personal and intentional care that we give ourselves so that we can show up present, energized, and ready to get in flow with whatever we're doing in our lives. Rocking an audition, writing our solo show, working on an overnight shoot, cooking dinner with our family, managing a deadline at the day job. Whatever we're doing, we want to be in flow and present and energized enough to be able to do that activity however we want to be able to show up for that activity however we want to be able to call Congress and demand that they defund ICE. We want to show up for that activity how we want to, in the way that we want to, I want to do that in the most Amy way I can. So let's fill your cup and get you the energy that you need. So the question I want you to be asking yourself, and we're going to ask this question many times in different ways. How do you care for your body, mind, and spirit? Self-care is highly, highly personal. We all have different bodies. We all have different minds. We all have different spirits. The body is probably the easiest place to consider first because there are some general categories that apply to most, if not all, bodies. So, sleep. Are you getting enough quality restorative sleep? Hydration. Are you staying hydrated? Are you drinking enough water? Nutrition. Are you eating foods that make your body feel good, whatever foods those are? I don't know. I don't know you. Hygiene. Are you staying clean so that you can avoid getting germs and spreading germs? Just a thought here. Movement. Are you moving your body and using your body so that it stays strong and healthy? Basically, with body, how are you taking care of your meat vessel here? How are you taking care of your instrument as an actor so that you can physically show up for your life, so that you can physically show up for your characters? How are you taking care of this corporal form, as they say? Mind and spirit are where things get really, really personal. But some questions that you might want to consider would be, what activities stimulate and engage your mind? So maybe thinking about creative projects or puzzles, games, discussions, maybe even acting work like that, like picking up a monologue or a scene. Because I know a lot of people, myself included, when I just for fun get into a scene, that feels good. So that's a way that, like, oh, I'm in my mind. I'm using my mind and I'm using my body too, honestly. And it's relaxing. It feels good. Like it kind of engages and stimulates my mind. So that's something to consider. What activities help your mind turn off and restore? So maybe meditation. I've recently gotten into cozy games. So games with kind of low stakes, not a lot of competition. Maybe I can even play them by myself. There's a whole category of games, guys, called solo games. You can just play it by yourself, and it's great. Highly recommend. If you want some recommendations on that, I have a few for you. Hit me up and I will let you know about those. Chill music. This is another thing, like just some chill music that can help turn off the mind and restore the mind. Because sometimes it's really hard to turn off the actor brain and the creative brain. Sometimes you're really going on a creative project, but you're like at the point of diminishing returns and you're like, I don't have any more good ideas here, but my brain is forcing me to keep going. And I, it's not, this isn't good for me, but for some reason, my brain is trying to tell me if I just keep hitting my fingers against the keys, something will happen because I need to figure this scene out or I need to figure this, Substack article out or whatever. And I've found that if I can turn off my brain instead and go do something completely different, as Monty Python would say, and now for something completely different, that is actually the secret to getting back into flow later. Because all of that creative stuff goes on the back burner and your mind isn't your like subconscious starts to work on it. You've probably experienced this. Your subconscious starts to work on it and then you go away and you do something completely different. You're playing a game or you're cooking a meal or something just active, something that actually gets your brain kind of focused in a different way on something else. And then when you come back to your creative project, all of a sudden you're like, oh, I see how to unlock this scene. I see all the orders for this Substack post. I see what to do with this now. I understand this character better. Hey, I've memorized these lines. I worked on it for so long and I was like getting to the point where I was like, oh God, I don't know if I have this or not. I'm really not sure. Put it down for a while, go do something completely different, come back to it, and you're like, oh, okay, I got it. Things like that. Also, really hard to turn off the actor brain when it comes to having, knowing that, like, there's always something that I could be doing for my career. Could I go find one more workshop to attend? Could I look up one more casting director on IMDb Pro that I could try to, see what they're up to and like I don't know. There's only so much we can do in a day, and we do need to eventually turn off our actor brain in order to come back fully ready to do more work, fully ready to engage in our craft and our career again. So being able to turn that brain off is really, really important. It needs to restore. So the next question to ask would be, what kind of passive input feels good to your mind? So this is where you're consuming something with your mind. So you're watching a show, you're reading a book, you're listening to podcasts, music. What of those things make your brain feel good, make your mind feel good? And then what passive income or what income? That'd be great. We all like passive income. What passive input? I hope I said input before. If I didn't, you know what I mean. What passive input doesn't feel good to your mind, and how might you limit your exposure? So, social media, doom scrolling doesn't feel good to my brain. I'm addicted to it currently, but it doesn't feel good. So, I need to be taking steps to how do I limit my exposure to this? How do I put some boundaries around myself where I can still show up how I want to there, but I'm not harming myself and my brain? Cable news as another example for me. How, maybe I can put some boundaries around that, not consume that passive income so passive income. I keep saying passive income. Apparently, we're all going to get passive income now because it's on my mind. That passive input, how do I limit my exposure to that so that I can keep my brain sane and healthy and restored? And then finally, what activities light you up and make you feel good? Because making your brain feel good is the name of the game. That's self care. That's part of self care. So, personally, for me, mindfulness is a huge way that I nurture my mind, plus my body and my spirit benefit too. So, it's like a trifecta. We're actually going to get into that next week. I also enjoy games, logic puzzles, funny podcasts, music, and my spirit really benefits from laughter. So, again, those funny podcasts, watching funny shows, laughing with my friends. Nature is also really great for my spirit, it's very restorative. Social connection is also great. So, these are just some ideas for you around mind and spirit. But again, this is all very, very, very highly personal. So these lists could be endless in terms of what feeds energy into your unique human system. So again, the questions to ask yourself are, how do I want to care for my body daily? How do I want to care for my mind daily? How do I want to care for my spirit daily? Because you do need to do this daily, because you need energy every day of your life. So find ways to take care of yourself every day. Again, these answers are going to be highly personal. What's self care for me might not be self care for you. And what's self care for you might not be self care for me. And that's okay because we can all enjoy and get benefit out of different things. And that's one of the great things about us as humans is we're all unique, we're all different, we're all special and wonderful and amazing. So release any expectations that you have around what self-care is supposed to look like. It's supposed to be Instagrammable. No, I take fiber supplements, and you don't see me posting pictures about my fiber supplements. That's not this nobody needs to see that. Who cares? But it makes me feel good. It's a form of my self-care. So there's no you don't have to Instagram this. None of this has to be Instagrammable. It can be really basic and completely unsexy. And that's probably the best stuff for you. So just do an exploration for yourself in terms of how you want to be caring for yourself. So below in the Substack post, so yeah, if you found this on the podcast, if you're just listening to it, or you found it on YouTube, go ahead and click the link that's in there, and that will take you back to the Substack, and that's where you're going to find a worksheet for you called How Do You Fill Your Cup? And it has those questions again. How do you care for your body? How do you care for your mind? How do you care for your spirit? It's going to help you brainstorm a list of energy boosting self-care items that you can prioritize in your life. And once, so the reason there's a printout for it, because you could just like think through that list. I want you to write it down because you will get the most benefit from this exercise by actually writing down a list, maybe even writing down a list on this, cute little graphic that I've made of a cup, because then you can post it somewhere where you will see it regularly. And that way your brain doesn't have to remember your list. Your brain doesn't have to remember, oh yeah, I should drink some water because your brain's already tired. Your brain already, you need the self-care to be able to remember the self-care. So just do yourself a solid, post a list so that you can see it, so that you give your brain one less thing to do. Your brain's doing a lot for you. Give it one less thing to do by making your list and posting it somewhere so you can see it, so that you can actually benefit from it, so that you can get the energy that you need for your life. You can also use self-care apps. The one that I really like, I'm sure there's a ton of them out there, but the one I really like is called Finch. It's you take care of a little bird by doing self-care things. So, and it will give you ideas of things that you can do. But also you can just write in your own things that you like to do, and then you have a little list and you check them off throughout the day when you do them, and then your little bird is happy, and you take care of the bird, and then you can dress up the bird, and you can dress up the bird's house, and you can get really elaborate with this if you want to. But it's, yeah, so it's just cute and fun. If you like an app, if you like kind of a gamified experience for this, I highly recommend Finch. So the idea here is to get your energy back. Get yourself the energy that you need for your full actor life. Because now you have this list of energizing self-care items. I want you to use it. Remember that vow that you made to yourself a few weeks ago and follow through for yourself. Have your own back on this. Get yourself the energy that you need for your full actor life. Do it for yourself as a human. Do it for yourself as an actor. Do it for your life. Do it for your career. Do it for your craft. All of you, the whole you, will benefit from this work. I promise. You need this care. You need this energy. Your life and your career, you will thank me for this. You won't thank me. I mean, I gave you the idea to do this, maybe, but you will thank yourself for this because I can't make you do any of this. You will thank yourself when you realize, oh, I'm starting to take care of myself. I have more energy. I'm living my life how I want to be living my life. I'm feeling better. This is the work. You got this. If you found this video, this article, this post, this podcast helpful or inspiring, I'm so glad. And I would be so honored if you'd leave a comment, share it with a pal that you think could benefit from it as well. Give a one-time donation. There's a link on my Substack for that. Or you could consider becoming a paid subscriber. That would be really fun too. I would love that. I would so appreciate it. So that's it. That's what I have for you today, and I hope you are well. I hope you are staying safe. I hope that you are going to get yourself an abundance of energy. Take care until next time. Bye.